My name's Justin Peterson. I'm the Service Delivery and Integration Manager for PowerNet. This is Paul. Paul's a technician. He's part of the technical group. They look after the things that most people can't within their organisation. When we first started this journey, we had to come up with a name, and for us, Power to Improve tied in really well with their vision that we're looking at as part of our organisation going forward. Just to give you a bit of an overview of our business, PowerNet was established in 1994, and that was purely as a management organisation to basically keep the lights on for the entire district, and that included parts of Ranfurly, Palmerston, also Balclutha, Southland, or majority of Southland, and there's also a little embedded network within Frankton. And that team basically consisted of around 60 people. They were engineers, project managers, and a management team that provided a bit of strategic insight. Since around about 2012, we've started consolidating as a business, and we've started bringing in the contracting arms that we had as part of the organisation. Around about 2 years ago, we integrated Power Services, which is a local company that services most of the Western Southland region, including Invercargill and Bluff. And from there, we've looked at bringing them through our organisation and getting the organisation up to speed with that different component of PowerNet. And going forward, from the 1st of April next year, we'll be bringing in Otago Power Services, and that's why we've incorporated their logo into everything that we're doing, because they will be part of our team going forward. We do look after a reasonably large network. We've got around about 66,000 customers, and it covers a very sparse area, so we do have a lot on our plate. Around about 18 months ago, we started a bit of a journey with completing a shared vision for our organisation. That involved everyone from senior management to people at floor level, and we thought that tied in really well with the lean program going forward. And everything that we have on here complements lean very well. And in order for us to be successful as an organisation, lean will give us safe, efficient, reliable power to communities. So we're really looking forward to bringing in Otago Power Services, and utilising lean as part of that going forward is only going to strengthen our position. Right, why lean? I've covered a bit of that so far. Now's the perfect time for us to integrate lean within our organisation. We are bringing many organisations together, and we want to be working one way forward as part of that. Part of our values is do it once and do it right, and I think without lean, I don't think we'll be able to do that going forward. We have a lot of regulatory restrictions, and we need to be as efficient as we can as an organisation within the constraints that we have. We have a lot of compliance that we have to meet. There's a lot of regulatory restrictions. The Commerce Commission get involved in everything that we do. We also need to improve and develop our processes going forward. Because of the dynamics of our organisation, we've got 4 different entities that are coming together that have had different processes, different ways of working. So we need to make sure that we are working one way going forward. And continually improving, and that's part of our success as an organisation. If we aren't continually improving, then we're pretty much not going anywhere. We need to enhance our customer relationships. Now we have a wide customer base. It's basically everyone in this room. It's our shareholders, and if we're not keeping the customer happy going forward, we're really going to struggle as an organisation. And part of lean, and why we want to do it, is develop better communication channels. Again, the dynamics of our organisation, we all have different ways of working, and we need to bring that bring that together, and we need to be able to have a system where we can actually communicate to the wider organisation where we're wanting to go. Well, part of the program objectives is, I'll probably skip one here, but this is this fine bunch of people. They're everyone basically in the corner there. They're part of our lean team. When we first started looking at this program, we had a few objectives that we wanted to look at, and we wanted to identify staff across all areas across our organisation who could influence. So these are the people that were well respected. People enjoyed the company basically, and they were very good at their job. So these people here, we went through a selection process of around about 280 people, and we believe that these people had the most influence in our organisation. We believe that they can take this program forward at a rate of knots. To undergo lean training and develop a skill set for us as an organisation, this is just going to be an ongoing process. And as Clinton mentioned earlier, this is going to be a 3-year journey for us. So the training going forward is going to be rolled out right across the entire organisation. If we try and roll this program out without giving the people the right training, they may struggle and will struggle as well. We've introduced the lean process and 5S system to all PowerNet staff, so we're looking at our implementation plan at the moment. A trial run, basically, this is a trial process for us. It's a lot of the smaller organisations, you can basically implement this within your organisation, and it can be a reasonably straightforward process. But for us as a larger organisation, this is basically a trial for us, and it's basically a pilot going forward. And the great thing about getting together with other organisations, we get to share our experiences, and we get to see how everyone operates. And a great example is we went to Beattie's last week and checked out their fine example of a system that's working really well, and we're highly impressed, and there's quite a few things that we've taken away from it that we'll be taking forward as part of this program. This is our central board, and as you can see, if you look in here, we've got all our tools still sitting on the bench because we're quite late getting our board made up. We did go through a bit of a selection process to actually make sure that we've got what we wanted, and we wanted to make sure that it was right. And as part of that, we only just got it up around about a day and a half ago. So we added the extra component, the health and safety component. That board's now full we have 2 safety committee teams at the moment, and it's around about 20 odd people that are based right across our networks. This board also will cover any safety alerts, information regarding health and safety going forward. Another key component here is this is our management board, which basically shows the staff what our KPIs are across our organisation, and gives everyone an indication of how we're travelling, because in the past nobody's really had an idea at a shop level on how we're performing. So the only time that would ever get communicated to the teams was during safety days. So now we have the opportunity to incorporate this board into basically everything that we do. So like our shared vision, that will be the way that we run our organisation. The way that we run our meetings going forward, we'll be utilising these information boards to our entire organisation. So we have team briefs once a month, so that involves senior management and the relevant teams at the depots. So we'll take them through KPIs. We'll also discuss the process improvement and the opportunities for improvement going forward. And we'll talk about the 5S, how that's travelling. But it won't be up to management to put this information across to everyone. It'll be up to everyone within the teams, and that's where it gets back to our name, Power to Improve, because that Power to Improve just doesn't stop within this team. It's with everyone within the organisation, right from the apprentice up. So that's how we want to work going forward. This is our initial process map, and that ties in with the previous slide with our offie board. But just to put some context around this process here was 52 steps, and that involves a lot of people within our organisation, but this process was to install a transformer that supplied one house. So it is quite a large process. It involves everyone from engineering to project management to field teams to people that we have that update our drawing systems, our financial systems, our admin teams as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of work there, but we had to take this butcher's paper across 8 different depots. So basically here through to Tianao, we've got 4 different depots at the smaller centres. Also from here to Ranfurly, we've got another 4 depots. So we had to take this right across and talk to our people and let them know what this board was about, and we had to ask them for areas where they think we could improve on this process. So we ended up coming up with 324 opportunities for improvement. So it was great input from the team, and there was a lot of people that did miss out just because of the sheer geographical map of our organisation. So we've got a team that's taken this forward. This process here, it ties in with many processes within our organisation, so it's not just going to help that one process, it's going to help probably maybe 30 to 40 processes going forward. So it's going to be great to see. It's probably going to take a good 12 months before we get some real traction on this. Right, our process improvements, we identified opportunities for improvements, and that's what I was just talking about. We had a process where our project managers, every time they install a transformer or a piece of equipment on our network, they have to get specific earth readings when the guys go out there and install earth rods and bits and pieces. And before we did this process, we noticed that the project managers were going out and doing the jobs, and the engineers weren't getting that information to the targets that they needed. And if they didn't meet those targets, then we'd have to go back and spend $2,000 to $3,000 extra on getting those readings right. So as part of this process, it's identified that we have got an issue there, and now the engineers are getting that information to our project managers before they even look at pricing or planning the jobs going forward. It also identified differences across the 2 networks. Now, initially there was PowerNet, and then there was another network in Balclutha that was called a TargaNet. Now we're one organisation. Our processes should be the same, but they're not. And we've got one connections team doing it one way and another doing it another. So there's posed some real challenges going forward, but luckily we've got 2 key members that are involved in both sides of those connections teams. So we've managed to bring our processes into one way of working going forward. And those same 2 people, they come up with the process milestone map. And just to put a bit of an explanation around this, these little smiley faces here and these sad faces, if this arrow is pointing at the sad face, then we don't progress any further with the process. And same with the traffic lights, although it doesn't indicate there, but this should be a green and a red. If we don't get a green light as part of our process, then we don't progress. Now, that 52-step process we condensed into 12 steps, and this is basically a future state where we want to see this process down the track. Here are our project milestones. So just to give you a bit of context, here we start at initial customer contact. Now, down here we've got customer requirements, confirmation milestones. So the administration team basically confirm that they've got all the right information to progress that forward. And the steps carry on as they should. And by the time that we've completed this entire process, we should have the customer requirements met and the work completed. So I'm now going to hand you over to Paul. He's going to take you through the 5S plan.
Morning. This is basically a workshop on Onslow Street. We've broken it down to 11 different areas, and area 4 is our 3 and 4 is our pilot area. The blue area there should actually be pink, but this particular area is where the linesmen get their gear in, drill crossarms, arm crossarms, and get it ready for jobs going out in the field. This is a before shot. As you can see, there's gear and ladders sort of everywhere. There's a small trainee stashed in the corner over here. We managed to find. He's been there for about 2 weeks. Basically, there's 2 or 3 different dynamics in our workshop. There's technicians, there's linies, and then there's cable joiners or underground guys. So we're all sort of working in the same area to achieve the same goals. And through no fault of our own, I think it's because a lot of us have come through from the old power services contracting side of thinking, just holding on to stuff. That'll come in handy one day, or shit, we're going to need that on a fault one night, and we'll just chuck it on the shelf. And I think a lot of the time that stuff was put on the shelf 6 months ago. People forget it's there, and they buy new stuff anyway when they need it. So yeah. This is another before shot. This is gear ready to go out, believe it or not, for different jobs. There's 2 or 3 different jobs sitting there, what the guys are doing, bringing them over, sitting them in the place ready to go, and then the job may not be for another couple of weeks, and they'd rob stuff from other jobs, and then they'd find when they grab that job pack, then there's stuff missing, and stuff was rebought. So it was a bit of definitely a major problem. This is actually that same area. After shot there, you'll see the saw and the drill press for drilling at cross arms. We had, I don't know, to be at least 1,000 before the 5S. It was at least 1,000 galv bolts and bits and pieces there for arm and cross arms that have been brought over or kept for handy situations that were no longer needed, that were recycled or put in storage. Yeah, so there's a massive improvement on that, and there's the red tag area just around the corner. There's a cleaning station, and within about 3 days of setting up the cleaning station, I bought a couple of brooms, a half brush and shovel, and within about 3 days there was brooms from all over the place migrating to that area that we didn't even know they had. You know, you'd search all day for a broom, and yeah, it's quite the power of a cleaning station is amazing. This is the red tag area is the stuff that was sort of no one really wanted to throw out. It would come in handy. We'd use it maybe 2 or 3 times a year or once every couple of years. So that sort of stuff needs a decision to be made about it. But that mindset of because there was a few of the older guys brought up through the contracting side of things, that was really hard to try and get their way of thinking around not getting rid of stuff, but yeah, having a decent tidy up and getting that mindset of keeping it for a rainy day.
No, it was just some of the challenges that Paul faced during this. The size of our workforce, so at the Onslow Street depot there's probably around about a team of 30 to 40 guys, and when you get that many guys in one small area, it's a lot of junk, and they don't want to get rid of it. Linies love hoarding. We don't know why, but it's one of those things. And I suppose, and like Paul said, it goes back to the contracting days where if they didn't allocate the right amount of gear for the jobs, they're in a fair bit of trouble, you know, and the boss would be basically hounding them because they would have to go and buy extra gear because they'd put in a quote initially. So for us, going forward with the lean program, we've got 8 different locations, and we have different offices and depots as well, and they all have different dynamics. So it is a real challenge for us. We're currently working through a plan to look at how we're going to roll out lean going forward and what training we're going to require. Merging four businesses, that alone is a big task. You have a lot of personalities, a lot of culture. So bringing that together for us and part of the Lean program is probably our biggest challenge to date. But we believe that with what we've incorporated with our shared vision and the Lean program, we'll be doing really well within a year to 18 months' time. Like Paul said, the guys have got a real sentimental attachment, and I think you can probably cover off how much trouble you had with the guys and actually getting buy-in.
The pilot area was huge. Once they saw the difference in their workspace and being able to find stuff was the key. The young guys coming through, the new apprentices were like coming up to me and saying, shit, it's great working in here now. I can find stuff, I can go to it straight away. It's there, and it's not a problem. So once they saw that, then everyone's got on board, and it's been a flow-on effect. The next area that we've got, which is our storage area, the guys are already in there and having a real decent tidy up. So it's good to see, and they are rolling with it. So
another thing is with bringing a purely management company and then throwing in a few contracting firms, our documented process is quite a bit different right across those separate businesses that are now being integrated. So we need to look at a way going forward on how we're going to bring that together, and Lean just makes complete sense for us in doing that down the track. The immediate benefits, the 5S program is probably a prime example of just one pilot area, and how much you can do within a few weeks. But we've, as part of the connections process that we went through, we've had a pretty good visibility of different areas where we've got flaws, and they are in major parts of the business, from anywhere to engineering, project management to financial. So it's great that we're identifying that now rather than later, so that we can improve and plan coming into the new financial years. We've got one common goal going forward, and that's part of our value, which is one way of working basically. We've got a clear overview of the connections process now, and which can be better communicated to our customers and to our teams as well. If we don't understand how the process works, then how the hell is our customer supposed to? So, one thing that we have noticed over the past few weeks, we've had a lot of buy-in from the staff. Initially, when we set up the program, a lot of the guys, they almost had separation issues with their equipment. But once they've seen how the process was actually working, we were getting a lot of buy-in and a lot of feedback from everyone right across the organisation on how this could work. And like Clinton mentioned earlier, we're almost having to hold people back to make sure that we get the process right, because of the size. We need to make sure that we've got all our management systems and background systems right before we actually roll this out, otherwise it could be a bit of a disaster. And it's appreciation of people's input and involvement from the start to finish process, and I think everyone here that has been involved with this process, you've got a real appreciation of it now and how it can go forward. The benefits for us, especially as a large organisation, the cost savings alone, just with the 5S processes, will be huge. We won't have people going back and forwards to the workshops looking for gear. They can get it before they start. And eventually, once we get our vehicles sorted out, the teams, or anyone from any area should be able to go to a vehicle and pick out the gear that they need. There's improved efficiencies. Our process that we had with our connections team, that just proves that we can improve our processes going forward. And I think this is the most important thing to us as an organisation, and because we deal with such a vast variety of customers, is it improves the service delivery to our customers. If we can provide an end-to-end process for our customers where it's not a frustration, then we've basically done our job at the end of the day. And it's improved the morale of our staff, and you can probably test this, Paul. the mood that we've seen around our pilot area at Onslow Street, the guys are quite upbeat about it, and they want to work on other areas straight away, because if their work areas are tidy, they're all happy. They know what they need to get. They know what they need to do, and it's an efficient use of our resources across the organisation. As a large organisation, we don't need to store junk. It's not in our interest, and it's basically waste our time. For us, it's going to be a 3 to 5 year rollout, and I've probably covered everything else in here. But we're lucky enough at the moment to be able to complete medium-term improvements, and we get quick buy-in from our staff, which is a huge benefit for us. Our long-term implementation plan, it will review and streamline process, which can span across multiple areas across the business. So we just need to make sure that we get that process right, and we'll be discussing that with Clinton later on. Any process which requires additional spend, we need to plan for that for the future, because there could be a significant amount of capital outlay for us as an organisation. So we need to make sure that we plan well ahead of where we're going to be in the future. This is just a map of our site rollout. This is basically an overview of our information board, where we're heading in the future. We've got set dates for the management teams. Colours are supposed to be separated, but that's all right. Right, key learnings for us at the start of a journey. We've only just touched the sides, really. Lean has and 5S have the ability to avoid frustrations across our teams and improve organisational efficiency. And a big part of a large organisation and bringing everyone together is to get that culture right. Without a good culture, we're losing a battle eventually. So Lean will help go towards our culture across our organisation. It's integrated into the way that we'll work going forward. So we'll incorporate our information boards and Lean as part of what we do. This is just one thing, just to touch on our shared vision. For us, Lean management is safety always. It is customer focus. It is customer improvement. And it is passionate and empowered people, and it is courageous leadership. And we're not succeeding in any of this unless we're getting things right. No questions.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Okay, look, thanks very much for that. PowerNet being a very large company, as I mentioned, this program is really designed for companies up to about 50. PowerNet being a much, much larger organisation. So our challenge was to get PowerNet to run this as a pilot, as Justin said. And the great thing with a pilot, you build the knowledge, you create the focus, and then you can take it out from there. And as Justin said, a lot of his words were around where to from here, having that strategic implementation plan. Looking back at some of the smaller companies in the group, by Christmas, this program will be embedded, and at the same time, we'll be seeing those positive results flowing through. The journey's just longer. Larger the organisation, the same principle, the journey just takes longer, which means stronger leadership, more commitment as you roll it out deeper and wider.